you've got to remain, you've got to keep going, absolutely, just keep going. See as many things as you can, get on stage as many times, fall down a lot, really mess up. And then, I mean, literally, like, read, fucking read. It's a gateway drug into writing, you know? Just keep reading and challenge yourself. Read things that are difficult and you don't quite understand, and broaden it. And then in terms of the practicality, the logistics, first thing is you take part in open mic events, including slams. And then, actually, this is a really good tip, actually. Set up your own night somewhere. Find out what's missing. So you've got this amazing Alternator night here, but there might be something that you want to do, like this is just for BAME poets, or this is just for women, or this is just for young people. And then you invite established poets along to headline. Yeah, and just say, like, particularly if they've got a book out, focus on people who've got something to sell, because then they'll do it for like next to nothing if you can fill the room, because they're like, well, I'll sell books. And slowly, or very quickly, your name will be known. So there's someone who will go, Joelle puts on these incredible nights. Shall we have her as an opener at this event? And slowly you start to develop a name. Get on social media, use social media a lot. I don't like people putting their poems on social media, but I think it's because I'm in my 50s, and I'm like, bruv, why are you throwing your poem away? But you know, Ruby Kaur's like, have no problem with that. She's like, done very well indeed. Explore mediums. There's also an idea that certain poets or artists fit certain mediums. So you may be an artist that works really well in the visual medium for YouTube, and you get a lot of followers there. You may find that absolutely nobody clicks on your YouTube thing. Maybe you just don't have the face for it, you know, the aesthetic. You might be a live poet. Find a medium that fits you. Take yourself seriously and keep pushing, and then plan yourself a tour. Just a little thing.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think from working with poets for a long time, I think my advice would just be to gig as much as possible. Use every opportunity to perform. Like Joelle says, kind of take it seriously, believe yourself, and back yourself to do it. But just the more opportunities you can have to get your name out there, to get people hearing your work. And then I think also a really valuable thing is to find other writers. So by going to lots of events, gigging a lot, find people who are at a similar point in their career to you, because writing can be pretty lonely. And even if you're going and gigging, if you're just like doing your piece, you know, going and sitting and watching the rest of it, having a drink and going home, it can be a very kind of lonely thing, and that's when it becomes easy to think, oh, maybe I won't bother, and I'm not necessarily getting recognition. But if you find other writers, they'll push your craft, they'll push your performance, but also there'll be a kind of support network for you to say, oh, you know, that gig might not have gone particularly well, but that piece is brilliant, but have you thought about doing it in this way? All those sorts of things. Those conversations are what will help develop your craft.
A community of poets, you guys being people who've gone from, you know, performing before a punk band to having a whole poetic community, what can we do to expand our poetic community and actually create opportunities for each other? You know?
I mean, having that collective, formally calling yourself a collective, the first thing it does is that it makes you feel you have that connection. It's not just something you do on a Thursday night, it's like, we are going to get together and we're going to challenge this issue.
Bring jackets.
Yeah, bring jackets and bow ties, clearly. So you have that sense of identity, that tribe feeling that you belong. We call it our crew. We're not really, we're a collective, but you know, we give ourselves, we've got gang names as well.
Yeah.
I'm Joey Knuckles.
Yes.
Flavor Flav.
Big Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, here comes the big boxing. Yeah, well, and I was going to say that, like, because from what you described with that outspoken, so is that kind of like you've got a bit of a group of poets who you're taking on a bit of a tour? Because obviously this is kind of a branch of a bit of a one-on-one kind of thing, but like how many poets have you got in outspoken, and have you kind of, obviously having seen people on the journey from high school to becoming poets being the thing, have you kind of, is that where you will source your poets from these events and that kind of thing, or not necessarily? Not necessarily.
Outspoken, we run a monthly night of gigs, which is spoken word and music, spoken word poetry and music. And there are other kind of big poetry nights around London, but then there are also collectives and nights set up for example, women of colour writing, sharing work together. There's like the Alternator collective, who are a group of incredibly successful female writers of colour. Yeah, exactly. And so there are these, whilst there may be maybe it's this gentrification, there's also these groups that are coming together to support each other and to kind of promote their work. And for example, the Alternator collective is being incredibly successful because they're all working together. So I think maybe what will come next is that poets start grouping together and working to support each other more tightly. I don't know.
Could tell us a bit about your writing process.
Tom. Yeah.
Tom, yes, certainly.
So, someone asked, I was on the Miff Woolhurst show on ABC last week, was it? And she asked us, she asked what my writing process was, and I just kept looking at Tom in a really panicked way. It's, generally speaking, the writing process is being alive and breathing, and then responding to things. And actually, one of my most things I get a lot of inspiration from are reading textbooks. And then you just start writing. You're never going to write a good poem unless you write a bad one. And that's your access point. Be absolutely shit. Just say it didactically, say it really simply, and then go back and think, what is a metaphor? Challenge yourself for metaphors as well. That's what I do. Like today I shall describe the night sky. And then you're like, well, that was shit. So overwrite, and then the editing bit is the bit, even though I am an editor, it's a bit of rubbish.
Leave it for someone else.
That's a really important part, because you start to learn that as you whittle things down, it distills, the alcohol gets stronger, the drugs get stronger, the more you compress it. Obviously, you don't know obviously, but I write kind of epic pieces. They're quite, 5-minute pieces. And my commission for that is a 12-minute piece, so I'm writing about an hour's worth of stuff that I'll cut down to roughly 12 minutes. I'll have to say really, really quickly to fit the time. But so that's the process. And sometimes, same with you, something just comes to you, like a phrase, and maybe it rattles around in your head and your heart for 10 years, and then suddenly you're ready to go. But yeah, first thing you need to do, or for me, is get up and write every morning. They call it, what do they call it? Morning pages. Good morning pages. And you just write absolutely anything. In fact, one of my best published stories started with me saying I cannot write, because I have total writer's block. And then I wrote a wicked story. I was like, but you won't finish it unless you begin it, innit?